Welcome to JenPenCreations. I'm Jen. Today I want to talk about the placebo effect and how it can affect our own personal lives, how we can use it to bring ourselves some joy and some happiness. So stay with me, stick around, hang out with me a little bit, and we'll talk about it today. So I'll get right to it. So let's go over what exactly is the placebo effect. It's a medical term used by pharmacists and stuff. A lot of the pharmaceutical companies, they'll gather together a group of people to test a medication. They will give half the people a pill that isn't actually medication. It's just like a sugar pill or some saline solution or something. They give the other half of their participants the actual medication, and that's how they can figure out how this medicine works and to what extent it works and if it works and all of that other stuff. The placebo effect actually refers to the group of people who were given the sugar pill. They weren't told that they were given a sugar pill. Everybody was told that they were given the medication. But these people were given the sugar pill. However, they also claimed that this pill worked for them. That is the placebo effect. It's basically mind over matter. What you think actually happens. And I think that we can use that to our advantage in our life to bring us more happiness and just allow the joy to flow. I mean, I like the joy flowing in my life personally. So sometimes I have to trick my brain into thinking that something that I don't like to do is something that I love to do so that I will get it done and feel happier in my life. The perfect example of this is the hypnosis that I've done. I was using a sleep hypnosis for actually getting sleep at night. A few years ago, a tragedy happened to me and my very, very, very close friend was killed. And I was having a hard time sleeping, so my therapist suggested that I start listening to like sleep meditations. Well, I did find one that worked. It was fantastic. And I finally got a full 5 hours of sleep in one night. Like, that was unheard of at that time. I was only getting 1.5 to 2 hours of sleep every night. I was having hallucinations. Lack of sleep is a thing. It causes problems. Don't do that to yourself. I mean, I understand that, like, in my circumstance, it was happening to me. I wasn't causing it for myself. But if you can try to find something to get yourself some sleep, do it. Because lack of sleep is a thing. Sleep deprivation, it is a thing, and it does cause problems. I had hallucination problems. It was bad. So I started listening to a whole bunch of different sleep meditations. And it was just going on and on and on. I ended up finding one that actually worked, gave me at least 5 hours of sleep at night. It was fantastic. I also started having issues with like foods and stuff that I was eating. They were causing me to feel nauseous if I ate too much of it. If I, like, for some reason, my stomach was just starting to have problems. And I started thinking that, I already have issues with lactose and I have issues with hormones and antibiotics in chicken and poultry. Really, all poultry I have serious problems with. And I was thinking, oh no, now I've got something else, because it was like French fries, noodles, rice. I couldn't eat a whole lot of it. Now I could eat little amounts of it, but if I ate more than like 3 or 4 bites of something that had a whole lot of that stuff in it, my stomach would start feeling nauseous and literally start making me physically ill. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I cut down a whole lot of the amount of food that I ate and I started losing weight. Now, at the time, I had been maintaining my weight over 300 pounds. I had been over 300 pounds for 20 years. I mean, I know that I've talked about it before, but I'll say it again. I maintained weight between between 360 and 320. For about 10 years, I maintained weight between those numbers. And now I started to lose weight. And I'm like, what the heck? I figured I was just, at a plateau, and that's just where I was going to stay, is like, right above 300 pounds, around 320, 325. That was the lowest I could get at that point. And I was like, oh, well, whatever. But this, for some reason, I started having these issues, but I was getting sleep. So I finally looked and checked out what the sleep meditation was that I was using, and it was not a sleep meditation. I thought it was a sleep meditation. It was a sleep hypnosis for permanent weight loss. Now then that started getting my mind thinking and working a little bit, and I'm like, if all this is putting ideas in my head while I'm sleeping at night, isn't that just the placebo effect? You're just convincing yourself that if you eat too much of this particular type of food, you're going to be sick. Now, I mean, honestly, I could still be doing that for myself. I could still be telling my brain over and over and over again every single day that if I eat too much bread, I will be nauseous. If I eat too much rice, I will be nauseous. If I eat too much noodles, I will be nauseous. And my body still kind of feels that from the sleep hypnosis, which I have not listened to in probably a year now. I have not listened to the sleep hypnosis in a long time because I've finally been able to get sleep on my own, and I'm also able to be in a calorie deficit of my own willpower on my own without having to convince myself. However, when I first started, I needed to actually convince myself that eating too much food would make me nauseous so that I could start losing weight, so that I could actually be in a calorie deficit. Because I'm going to tell you, I had serious issues with eating whole lots of food. And then I would feel guilty about that. And then I would just not eat any food. And then I would be super duper hungry. And then I would start that cycle again. I mean, most of us know that is a form of an ED. I don't like talking about EDs. They're very detrimental, but I know that I had one. And I know which one it was. And now I am actively working on changing that and changing my mindset. Because I have to stop myself from feeling guilty for, allowing myself to overeat certain types of food or whatever. So now I have to stop the cycle. If I do overeat one day, I don't make myself feel guilty about that. I just start the next day brand new. And I decide that I'm going to tell myself, if I overeat, it's going to make me sick. If I eat more than a certain amount of sugar, it's going to make me sick. If I drink my calories, it's going to make me sick. And then if I convince myself of this stuff, if I eat too many sweets, if I eat too much noodles or French fries or bread, oh my gosh, I love potato chips and French fries. They are my downfall. I love them. So if I convince myself, using the placebo effect, I convince myself that if I eat too much of that stuff, my tummy will feel nauseous. My body actually reacts to that. And my body will start feeling nauseous if I eat too much of that stuff. It is January. It's like it's about the middle of January right now. And there's still a bunch of Christmas candy sitting on the counter because I go overboard every year. I have 4 kids. I have 7 grandbabies. I go overboard and I make all the Christmas candy. And then my kids also we do a cookie exchange every year, and they make all the cookies, and then I get to taste all their cookies, and they get to taste all of my cookies and my candies and stuff. And I have a counter full of Christmas candy. I've got fudge, I've got Oreo cookie truffles, I've got cookies, like sugar cookies, and I've got almond bark and cherry almond bark and cranberry almond bark and all the different stuff. I've got it all. Okay, so I still have a whole lot of it sitting in there. And Oreo cookie truffles, oh, those are my favorite. My daughter makes them every year. They're my favorite. This year she made them with the apple pie Oreos. And oh my goodness, they are my new favorite thing. But I still have 4 or 5 of them in there because they're super sweet, super rich. And I had convinced myself already, I've convinced myself and my body that if I eat too much sugar or too much carbs or something like that, that my stomach will feel upset. And now If I even eat one of those, I will cut them in half. And I will eat a half of one like early in the day, and then I'll eat the other half of it later on. Because if I eat the whole thing, my tummy literally feels upset. Like I feel like I'm going to have an extracting issue here if I eat a whole one. But now she does make them very large. They're like big giant Oreo cookie balls. They're fantastic. But a whole one totally makes my tummy upset and makes me feel nauseous. I don't like the feeling of nausea. So I try to prevent that in myself. And now I've gotten to a point where I've been able to maintain a calorie deficit and be able to lose the weight. Like I said in one of my past videos, I've finally gotten down to 275. That was my goal for Christmas, was to be down to 275 by Christmas. It happened. I don't know if it happened on Christmas because I weighed myself on the 29th of December and I was 275. So I made it because I was able to use the placebo effect to help me accomplish one of my goals. Our minds are fantastic. And I know that we all have ample intelligence to convince ourselves of crazy stuff. So start using that to your advantage. Start convincing yourself of some really crazy stuff that can help improve your life. I mean, all it takes is some affirmations. And I know that stuff sounds crazy. Just like hypnosis. Hypnosis sounds pretty crazy, that you can just hypnotize somebody into losing weight or stopping smoking or not being violent anymore or something. I mean, our brains work in amazing ways. So start telling yourself you're amazing. Start telling yourself that you can do it. Once you can convince your brain that this is what's real and this is what's happening in your life, your brain will make your body do that stuff. It's kind of like hypochondriacs. They convince themselves that they are sick so much that they go to a doctor and a doctor will find ailments. They will, because the body will make them, will create them, because the brain says it has it. Our brains are very powerful. So I hope that you got something out of this today. Go out, do something amazing for yourself or somebody else. Tell someone else that they're amazing. Try to help their brains do something good for them. Do something good for you. Go and look in the mirror and convince yourself that you are fantastic and you are worthy of this happiness and joy in your life and in your world. I really, really hope that you have a wonderful day. Have a joy-filled, awesome, wonderful day. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.